Hi, I'm Father Dave Nix, and tonight's topic is how to keep your kids from being trafficked. I think some people might have an initial reaction to that to say, why should a priest have any authority in that after the scandals? If you look at this URL that is right here, in my last blog post I talk about why priests can be trusted. Another objection that people may have to this is, that sounds like a joke for a Western priest to be talking about. Now, it is true that there is a lot of sexual trafficking of children in countries in the Far East, Southeast Asia, partly because of the view of girls through misunderstandings of God's reality through the clouded eyes of reincarnation. Places like Thailand and Cambodia traffic these girls, and often the families sell them. In other places like Eastern Europe, Moldova, people do show up in the proverbial big black van and kidnap people. This happened greatly after the collapse of communism. However, most people do not realize that here in the United States there are 100,000 children who are sex slave trafficked. When that child was born, the parents surely didn't think that this child would be trafficked. Yes, some of them are foreign born, but most of these 100,000 children, they are domestic. The question is, how did they get there? If the parents didn't sell them into slavery, if the big black van didn't pull up? Well, the FBI reports that most of these children were runaways. In fact, within 24 hours of running away, whether it's the bus station or wherever she ends up, that child will be approached by a human trafficker. Perhaps she's 14, maybe he's 24. He pulls the lover boy syndrome to tell her that he loves her, and soon enough, she is brainwashed through emotional brainwashing and drugs to end up in the grip of this pimp and soon in the hands of thousands and thousands of Johns. How do you prevent your kid from running away? This is the answer today that I hope to give you. The answer is to keep open communication lines with your children. One of my favorite Catholic bloggers, Taylor Marshall, who's got several children, he even goes so far as to say that sex ed should be presented by the parents as early as 8 years old. You see, if you don't get to your kids with this, Planned Parenthood will. If you don't get to this, the public schools will. And if your kids understand that they have open communications with you, then they can talk to you about anything, even their sins. You see, if your kid comes to you and they have the courage to tell you of sin, yes, get them to confession. But I always say that the feelings of objective guilt come from God, but shame always comes from Satan. So a good confession gets rid of the guilt, but the shame comes from Satan. And so many kids, even in good Catholic families, have so much shame surrounding their lives that they don't feel they can talk to their parents. And if your kids don't feel they can talk to you because you're going to make them feel shameful for something they looked at on the internet or something that they're struggling with, they're going to take it out in other ways. And if they run away, they will surely be found by a trafficker. So if you remember one thing from this video, it's this. If you want to prevent your girls, and 95% of those trafficked are girls, 5% boys, if you want to prevent your kids from being trafficked, keep very open communication lines with them. Do not let them feel any shame. Let them come to you first if they sin, through drinking, through pornography, through other sexual sins. You know, over 25% of college girls cut their arms, and this is actually not a problem of suicide. Even before I was a priest, I asked someone in youth group, and he was actually a boy who cut his arms. I said, "Why do you do that?" And he said, "Because I can't talk to anybody about anything." And everyone I've asked since then, it's pretty much the same answer. Because I can't talk to anybody about anything. Kids, even in the best of Catholic families, are now growing up in an environment of loneliness and isolation. Set up dates with your girls. Make sure that Facebook time is limited. A tremendous amount of pimps find their prey on Facebook. Or even better, don't even let them get on Facebook. If you have that time with your kids and they feel no shame about talking about the tough topics with you, you will have saved them from running away, and you probably will have saved them from becoming another statistic in the hands of the traffickers.